Hello, today's episode is about sunshades for your RV. Awning sunshades, windshield covers, side window covers. It's summertime, and now it's time to keep the RV cool, right? Today, I want to welcome everybody to the show to start off with. This is Eric Stark with Radio Arizona RV, your best RV podcast. Now, this is the podcast that's for the RVer who likes to know how to do the work himself or just like to know how things work on an RV. You know, there's a lot of working parts on an RV, and it's nice to know how things work so you can take care of yourself on the road, or if you have to take it in for a repair, you have an idea of what's happening. Now, today's episode is number 67, and like I said, it's about RV sunshades, and we're going to break it down by awning drops or awning shades, windshield covers, and side window covers. Those are the three major areas of shade you'd want on an RV. And there's a reason for them. Now, don't forget to share this episode with your friends and family. If you're using Apple iTunes, go to the iTunes store and do a review on the podcast. I'd appreciate that very much. And if you ever have any questions, you can contact me using the Contact Me page or Contact Us page on radioarizonarv.com. Now, for those of you who haven't been listening or come in from time to time, as a reminder, I do have a brick and mortar retail store and several websites where I sell products. And you can find links to the websites at radioarizonarv.com. All of our links are there. Now, I don't sell every product I talk about on my podcast on my websites for one reason or another. And I just like everybody to know that. Sometimes I talk about something and you might not find it on the website. And there's reasons for that. Here we are, we're in June of 2020, and the COVID-19 pandemic is still going on. And what's interesting about it is, in the RV world, my world, your world, but more so of mine, we're having a really hard time getting RV parts. You know, everyday things now are becoming big zeros on purchase orders, trying to find them, you know, like RV toilets. We have a supplier that we buy from. They have about 16 warehouses across the country, and they have 0 toilets in their system. And normally they'd have thousands of them. And it's other things too, water valves, SureFlow water pumps. I mean, you name it. It's just getting harder and harder to get parts. What I'm doing is I check inventories from multiple suppliers, and if I see they're getting low, I just buy up what they have. So I have it. I mean, that's crazy. And I'm sure I'm not the only guy doing that. It adds to the problem, unfortunately, but I do have to stay in business, and so I have to have parts in my store. I'm sure I'm not the only guy, and so the COVID-19 is having long-lasting effects. The world has just kind of run out of some stuff, you know, like webcams. I know you guys aren't using webcams all day, every day, you know. I use them quite a bit. They're really hard to find. Microphones, like a USB microphone, really hard to find. I just purchased one, but fortunately my favorite brand, Mackie, had them in stock, and so I'm good to go. But it was still a bit of a struggle to find it. So there's, you know, a lot of things happening with COVID-19, and sometimes we just have to be patient with the RV stores. If you're trying to find something, you know, they're out of it. There's a reason why. They're not playing games with you. At least they shouldn't be, because this is reality right now. Another thing, too, when you purchase things on websites, I've made it a practice now to just call the company, make sure they do have it in stock, and that there's not going to be any shipping problems. A particular company we buy from, you know, wholesale, sewing supplies, they'll have things on their website, but then they won't ship for 2 weeks because they're so backed up, you know, which doesn't help me. We need it shipped right away. So keep that in mind. Those are just little things going on. That's the COVID-19 update, you know, which take it for what it's worth, you know. There's much more to it, but I'm just sticking with the RV stuff that I know that affects me, that could possibly be affecting you. I want to thank you again for listening today. This is Eric Stark with Radio Arizona RV. Now let's get into episode number 67 and talk about RV sunshades, or sunshades for RVs, ever how you want to look at that. We're going to start with awnings. You know, I've been talking about awnings the last 2 episodes. So I figured now would be a good time to just continue with that. So awning drops, as we call them, or awning shades, as you might call them, also are called, awning drapes, draperies, curtains, panels. I mean, the names go on, but the official name would probably be awning shade if there is an official name. We called them awning drops for years, but we're trying to get away from that because it's not that common of a usage of the name. So we're going to awning shades. You'll see that on our websites. So an awning shade, there's great benefit to them. And I'm not talking about these just because I sell them, because Carefree of Colorado sells them. Lippert Component sells them. I mean, ours are different, that's for sure. We give you a lot more options, but I'll get that in a little bit in a minute here. The awning shades, they hang off your RV awning. All awnings have a utility groove, or at least most of them do. Zip D's don't, and that's one brand. I think some Girards don't. But if you have a utility groove on your roller tube, basically it's where the pull strap goes to bring your awning out. If it's a manual awning or if it's electric awning, it still is going to have that utility groove. It's kind of a standard. They use the same roller tube for all their awnings, whether manual electric, when you're talking about Carefree and Dometic or A&E. Even Solera. The shade just slides into that utility groove, and there's different versions of the shade. There's a couple different ones. You can get them with a zipper, without a zipper. And the zipper is a horizontal zipper, and depending on the brand of it and the size of the material when it comes to us, the zipper will be at a different point. But I think Carefree and Lippert, they put all their zippers at about 30 or 36 inches. Down from the top, and then you can unzip the lower section and leave the upper section in the RV awning, which, hey, that makes it really easy. If it's windy out, you need to bring in your awning, you can just pack it up and go real quick. Ours are different sizes depending on the height. We have a little more room to, wiggle here. We can color outside the lines a little bit compared to the other guys because we're smaller. Everything we do is custom, so we're used to custom stuff, so it's not a big deal to do. So our awning drops, you might have a 12-inch upper section, a 24-inch upper section, a 36-inch upper section. It depends on the type of material and the height of the overall height of the awning drop itself, or the awning shade. And what's the benefit to these? I mean, these things are easy to use. They slide in your awning. They're easy to store. They're just really an easy thing to keep in your RV. But what's the benefit of them? Well, like any shade product for an RV, this is a shade product, so it's not solid vinyl. You can see through it. There's, that. It's not 100% block out. But what it does is it allows you to have privacy, for one thing. When you have your awning out and you're underneath it, you're there relaxing, it gives you a little layer of privacy. It's not 100% privacy, but it gives you some privacy. It also kind of defines your room there. The patio awning, it defines it, makes it into a space more than just kind of an area. And you can angle out the awning drop to make your patio awning or your awning area bigger, or patio, however how you want to look at that. Sometimes you're on concrete, sometimes you're on gravel or dirt or grass, whatever it might be. But you angle it out and it makes that space bigger, and it defines the space as being bigger. It's kind of like, this is my outside area. So it gives you the privacy, makes a space, and it also blocks out the sun. Depending on where you're parked and what part of the country you're in, maybe you don't want the sun in there, or you just get that sun in certain parts of the day. So it's going to help block out the sun. And that also just keeps everything cooler, keeps the side of the RV cooler. When you have your RV awning out, you have the shade hanging off the awning. There's some benefits to it in that way. Are they for everybody? I would say they're probably not, but almost everybody should have one, I think, because they do such a good job and they're so easy to use. Even if you don't use it every time you take your RV out, you have it just in case. Maybe where you go, it's a little cooler and you don't worry about the sun too much, but you go out one weekend and you get in that one spot where just the sun's on the side of your RV, where it's trailer, motorhome, and then you can just block out the sun. And they work real easy, like I said. And so there's benefits to it, blocking out the sun, added privacy. It's going to keep everything cooler, the RV cooler, everything underneath the awning is going to stay cooler. And I'll say we sell a bunch of them. So, they are popular, and the different sizes and colors are kind of what we specialize in. Carefree and Lippert, they just have one or two colors, a few sizes. They don't do it like we do it. We got all the different sizes, heights, lengths, colors. I shouldn't say all the colors. We have more colors than what they have. Colors is kind of a touchy subject anymore because RVs don't really come in the broad spectrum of colors they used to. So that's been narrowed down. Black, beige, gray, and brown are probably the most popular colors today. If you have an RV awning, it's something to definitely consider. Just make sure you have the utility groove in the roller tube before you purchase one. That way you know what you're getting into. And ours work on, well, just like Carefree and Lippert's, all the brands work on all the different awnings. They're designed that way. They're not awning specific, and they're easy to use. That's for awnings. So if you have, an awning, that's your awning shade. And also we make end panels, which go on the end of the awning. And Carefree, I think, calls them end blockers, maybe. Now ours are made to fit your awning, so they're kind of custom. And so if you want to, you do your main shade hanging off the roller tube, then you want to put an end panel on it. Ours are designed with the angle. They follow the taper of the awning. So you measure accordingly. And that gives you a little more privacy. It makes it more into a room. And some people put them on the front and rear of the awning. And then you have the one off the roller tube. So now you have basically a room. Now they're not sealed tight. These are, these aren't like custom to that degree where they become a room with zippers in the corners. But they give you the privacy and they kind of separate everything off from, everything else from the world. That's your room. That's your space. And like in Arizona, places like that, people love these things. They have them out all winter long. But, there's a lot of sun in Arizona. And it just becomes their space. They put all their belongings out there. They leave it. They don't worry about it, because it's just their private space. And people even respect that. When they go to the RV to visit someone, they'd stand outside that room. They don't walk in. It's like walking in their house now. You can do the shade off the roller tube, which 90% of the time, that probably is everything you need. Then if you need the end panels, they are available. Like I said, ours are custom made. Carefree has their end blockers. I don't know how they make them. I don't think they're custom. They're probably rectangular and kind of one size fits all. So a little bit different, but that's us. We always do a little bit different. And this isn't a big advertisement for what we do. This is just talking about shade in general. So, I don't expect you to just buy things from me because I talk about it and we happen to make them. The next thing on my list is windshield covers. So this is for the guy with the motorhome. But don't worry, guy with the trailer, we're going to be getting to you in a minute. Whether it's trailer, fifth wheel trailer. If you have a motorhome, a windshield cover is a big area for the sun to come in. You get that sun, even on a cooler day, sun just radiates through the glass, makes it hotter. It just warms up the inside of the RV or warms up the cab of the motorhome, depending if it's a Class C maybe. So windshield covers a great way to cool down the inside of the RV or to keep it cooler. And, our 90% sunshade material is the ideal way to go. In which, I didn't say that when we were talking about awning shades. We have an 85% and 90% material. Carefree, Lippert Components, they have I'm not sure what it is. It's an 80, 85%. It's kind of a unique material. It's not like ours. It's a little bit different. But we have that 85 and 90%. I'm not going to get into all the details of that. There's some pretty basic things. The 90% is just better. It's a better quality material. It's going to block out more sun. It's going to look better, last longer. But with that being said, let's go back to the windshield covers. Now, the windshield cover, we pretty much only recommend the 90%. Like our Class C, Class B, Freightliner type windshield covers, we won't even make them out of the 85% material because the 90% is just a better quality material. It has a little more stretch to it, so it fits nicer. And it blocks out more sun, which is what you're trying to do on the RV. So we won't even make them out of the 85%. We just won't do it. The 85 is a different type of material. It doesn't have the stretch to it. It doesn't look as nice as long as the 90% will. The 90% has a 10-year warranty. 85% has a 5-year warranty. But the 85% is going to get stains. It just won't look as nice for as long of a period of time. The 90% is basically what you'll see in residential applications, commercial applications. That's the kind of quality it is. But it just works for the RV application. I don't know how many companies are out there that make windshield covers. I really don't. And we make them for Class A motorhomes. We have thousands of patterns. I'm not saying we have yours, but we have thousands of patterns. And if we don't have a pattern, we can walk you through the steps of making a windshield cover pattern and sending it to us. And I don't know of anybody else that really does it like that. There is one company, MagnaShade. They do make windshield covers, and I think they're a little more friendly for it, as far as making patterns and things. But theirs is a different system. Theirs connects with magnets, very expensive compared to ours. I'm not really a big fan of it, and not because they're competition. I'm just not. The magnets are they're very spendy. They want to print on all their windshield covers, so you have a nice little print of a lion or something. Doesn't tickle my fancy, but hey, that's just me, I'm just being honest here. But overall, though, the Class A windshield covers, those are RV specific. And well, they all are. You can't interchange these things. But if we don't have a pattern, we can certainly walk you through the process of making them. Now, if you have a Class C windshield cover, or let's say a Freightliner, we have patterns for those. We have them for Chevy, Ford, Dodge, Freightliner M2, S2s. And these are one-piece windshield covers, where a Class A is a three-piece. So the one-piece fit over the top of the door, and they have magnets, and then the wipers also help hold them in place. They work real good. This type of windshield cover has been around for decades. ADCO's a big Class C vinyl windshield cover manufacturer. Theirs are just vinyl. In fact, that's what we sell. If someone wants a vinyl one, we don't make them. We just send out an ADCO vinyl one. It's just easier. It's more cost effective. So that's what we do. They have a good product. So we're not going to work around that if we don't have to. So that's for the Class C's, Freightliners, one piece. And we do make them. We sell a lot of them. And they work. They keep the cab of the RV cooler. They keep the RV cooler, keep that sun off the glass. And you got the wiper covers that come with it. So it protects the wiper blades, which they can get expensive. Some of these motorhomes, you're looking at, $50, $60 to replace your blades, maybe even more. Those are some pretty basic ways to keep your RV cooler, or one basic way is just those windshield covers. Now, if you have a travel trailer or a motorhome, there's another option here for keeping the RV cool, and that's side window covers. That's what we call them, side window covers, because that's basically what they are. Now, a lot of people spend money on window awnings, and window awnings are great. They have a purpose, but window awnings get very expensive. You start adding up all the windows on your RV and want to put awnings on them because you want to keep the sun out. It gets real expensive quick. And depending on your RV, you might not be able to put them on every window. I just looked at a fifth wheel toy hauler trailer for one of our customers, and he has a lot of windows on it, but because the way they built the trailer, he could only put a window awning on 2 windows, and he had like 10 windows on this thing. So 2 windows out of 10, approximately 10, could have window awnings. And the reason why he couldn't do it on the other ones is, one, there was an awning, the main awning is right next to the window, but there was enough room to put the arm there for the window awning, and that side would have worked. But on the other side of the window, there's a porch light right next to the window. So there's no way it would work. And then there's a ladder going up the side right next to 2 windows. They're kind of side by side. But one of those 2 windows could have an awning, but the other one couldn't. And they're so close that would be normally one where you do one window awning to cover both of them. And then there's a kitchen window, smaller window, but it was up real high, kind of weird. You start boiling it down like, God, this guy just can't have any shade in his glass, not awnings anyways. And that's really what he wanted, were window awnings. He just likes them. And I don't blame him. Window awnings are kind of cool. They look nice, add a little element to the RV. The option for him would be side window covers. And they go on real easy. It's made out of this, we make them out of our 90% material. Again, it's one of these products that the 85% we just don't recommend because they just don't fit that nice. There's no stretch to the 85. The 90 has some stretch, so you can get a nice installation because there's no wrinkles. You can get the window cover fitting nice. And, it sounds real easy because it seems like a square rectangle. How hard could it be to install a window cover? Well, actually, they are kind of difficult to get them where there's no wrinkles. You have to kind of work it. You have to play it. And you have to, take your time doing it. Otherwise, you'll get wrinkles. And once you drill holes in the side of your RV and install the snaps or the twist locks, it's kind of hard to undo that. You can move the eyelet on the fabric a little bit to correct it if possible. The installation is important and it takes time. And these are do-it-yourselfer, though. Don't get me wrong. These things aren't so complicated you can't do it yourself. You just have to take your time with it. And we have kind of a proven method for doing that. It works every time. So if you follow our method, then you'll have a nice clean installation if you buy these. For side window covers, let's say an RV has about, 12, 13 windows. We're talking about just side windows, not the windshield cover. Like our windshield cover covers the windshield, driver and passenger side front windows. So the first window on each side of the RV. Side window covers would be everything else. And on a trailer, obviously, it'd be all the windows on a trailer, whether it's on the back of the trailer, all the way down the side, if there's one on the front, whatever it might be. So it's just all the windows. Now, I forgot the number I said. I don't know if it's number 11, 13, but if your RV has, let's say, 11 windows and you want to cover them all with awnings, let's just say you could do it. You'd be looking at a couple $1,000s probably for the awnings, the installation, the whole package. If you did it with side window or 90% sunshade material like what we sell, with the installation, you're probably going to be under $600. That's a huge difference. And at the end of the day, you actually will probably get better results with the window covers that we make, the side window covers, because they're going to be on all your windows and they're always working. You don't have to bring them in. You don't have to bring them out. And not that you can't just leave a window awning out, but these are always there. And depending on the height of your window, some windows are 5 feet tall. Some windows are 4 feet tall. Window awning won't always give it the coverage it needs. Even the tall window awnings won't always give them the coverage. So the side window covers are just an excellent choice for keeping the sun out completely out. And they cool down the RV. It keeps the sun off the glass. And that's really the trick, is keeping the sun off the glass. And it doesn't matter what color they are. A lot of people ask, is black worse than, gray? What color should I get? Should I get white? That'll really keep it cool. And, we don't even sell white anymore because it was such a bad color where you're looking through it and your eyes would get all blurry. It's just really weird because it reflected so much light off of itself. It created this blurry vision. Where the darker the color, there's no reflection or less reflection. But we're only talking, 1 or 2 or 3% here, depending on the color. So like if your RV is gray and black window covers look sharp on it. And it works. They keep the sun out. So you have a nice appealing look and it keeps the sun out. And as far as the fasteners go, a lot of people are afraid to drill holes in the sides of their RV, and I get it. Your RV, when you bought it new, probably already had about 70,000 holes in it between the roof and all the things that are attached to it. Not wanting to add more to it makes sense. But for all the years we've been doing this, it's never been an issue. There's no problems with it. And the twist locks and the snaps, they look okay. They're not like the most beautiful thing you can add to your RV, that's for sure. But you're not the only RV with a bunch of twist locks on it around the windows. If you were, that would be one thing, but it's not. Everybody has them, or a good portion of people have them. So it's not like this big ugly thing that stands out. And actually, if you take care of your RV, these things really don't even grab someone's attention. If they're looking at your RV and it's really, you take care of it, they just notice how well you take care of your RV. They're not a big deal to add on, some RVs, have, extra 150 holes because of all the window covers on it. And they don't have leakage problems. They don't have problems like that. It's pretty simple to do. And it's not going to ruin your RV. It's not going to ruin the value of it. That's for sure. Just the only thing I recommend when you sell your RV and you have covers like this made for your awning, for your window covers, a windshield cover, sell it with the RV. Some people keep awning drops, and I get it because you're buying another RV. It's going to have an awning on it or the awning shade. But, they don't always work on the next RV. Then you got this thing and you're going, oh, what do I do with it now? Just let it go with the RV. It's a selling point. Just make sure the person knows they have it. When they come to look at your RV, have the awning shade hanging off the awning. Give it that curb appeal. When we sell a house, we go way above and beyond what we need to do to make it look appealing. When we sell an RV, though, we just leave it in a parking spot. There it is between the house and the wall. Go look. Man, we should have that baby out and ready to show somebody if they want to look at it. Bring the awning out. What does it take? 5 minutes, Sell the stuff with it, if you are selling your RV after you purchase it, because it's not going to fit your next RV. It's not going to fit it the way you want it to anyways. And so that's just my 2 cents on that. I mean, just get rid of the stuff and just start out fresh. And yeah, that sounds crazy. You're spending more money, but you buy a new RV, that's what you do. You just kind of start over. I mean, how many times have you done it? How many times have I done it? We all do it. Unless something can work. I know a lot of people buy LED light bulbs. They get rid of their RV, they put it up for sale and they pull out all those LED light bulbs and put in regular incandescent light bulbs. And, there's got, $200-$300 in LED light bulbs. I get it, but they can use those light bulbs in the next RV, or at least a good portion of them. Probably not all of them, but they'll be able to use a good portion of them. I don't know if that pays off. It makes sense. I mean, it is kind of a selling point, but sometimes we just have to bite the bullet. Just look at the bigger picture, get rid of everything with it. That way you don't have all this little stuff sitting around. Oh, what do I do with all these bulbs now that don't fit my new RV, or half of them that don't fit? The pros and cons of Sunshade are all pros, really. I don't see any cons other than it's, one more thing you got to do on your RV. When you go out camping or get set up, you got to put up the sunshade or maybe put the window covers on, but we're only talking minutes compared to either days, weeks, or months of camping someplace. And you keep the sun out, you keep the RV cooler, you keep the sun off of the interior or off of your things that are underneath the awning. So it protects stuff. And also with the RV side window covers and windshield covers, you can leave those on year round. When the RV's in storage, you can just leave those on and keep the sun out of the RV. Keeps the sun off of your interior, keeps the RV cooler year round, even in snow, rain, whatever, you can leave them on. Some people take them off just to make sure that they don't get any mold or anything growing on them, and no problems that way, and that's fine. During the winter, I think when it's, 30 degrees out, 20 degrees out, freezing at night, pretty much doesn't matter what you do. You're not going to add a whole lot of insulation value with a windshield cover. It's going to be so minute. Might be worth just taking it off and putting it back on come springtime. Those are the pros and cons, like I said, of RV sunshade: windshield covers, awning shades, and side window covers. And you can check out our website at sunpromfg.com if you want more information on them, just to get a kind of a lowdown. Maybe you haven't really thought about them before, or you can call me and talk to me about it. You can call our office, talk to anybody here. They can help you. And yes, I do answer the phone. Just this week alone, I've had quite a few people calling, and kind of surprised that I'm on the phone and I'm talking to people. Well, that's what I do. I want to help everybody with their RVs as much as I can and make right decisions, at least the best possible decision. So I want to thank everybody for listening today. It's been another great show, a lot of good information here. So just take it to heart and do with it what you want to do. Investigate it if you haven't done it before. Look at sunshades. It is a nice alternative. They're not too expensive, in a relative sense, for keeping your RV cooler and your family happier. And everything about an RV sunshade is a do-it-yourselfer thing. You do not have to have them installed if you have the ability to do it yourself. If you can drill a drill and use a rivet gun, piece of cake, no problem. You can do this. Again, I want to thank everybody. This is Eric Stark with Radio Arizona RV.